cut this off. See the new top end we just put on? Yeah. Turns out the K&N air filter does not filter very well. That is it, guys. I have had it with these aftermarket filters that will not work. You guys see this darn filter here? This darn thing is pissing me off, man. It dusted my rings. Now I'm gonna dust it. I cannot stress enough to you guys, do not use these filters. They're garbage. So you guys could see there, we had a little bit of fun with the K&N air filter. It's pretty much the only thing we can do at this point, considering we are now burning oil. So, you know, obviously we can't fully attribute the problem of burning oil to the K&N air filter dusting the rings, although it didn't help, because I changed the air filter over to the stock air filter well before it was burning oil. And you guys will see later in the video here, I did quite a few tests to see what the heck was going on. And you can't blame this issue on either the air filters, although with enough time, the K&N air filter would have caused enough dirt to get in the rings to completely toast the rings. So I would not recommend running the K&N air filter. All right, let's get into the video, guys. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Goodol'boys YouTube channel. Today I have an update on the K&N air filter. It's just not working out the way I thought it would. So guys, we don't have too many more miles or hours on the bike since I put the K&N air filter on here. I'm going to put on the screen here how many miles we actually ran the K&N air filter. So you guys could see we didn't run the K&N air filter for very long. So now we're gonna take the air box apart here and take a look inside and see what's going on in there. Here's a look inside the air box. I know it doesn't look bad, but like I said before, dirt was getting past the lip seal on the K&N air filter. It really is unfortunate, but you can see the evidence all over in here. See all this dirt by the drain hole. Right there. You can also see on the back side of this wall here, all this watery dirt. There's just evidence all over in the air box that this air filter is not sealing correctly. So guys, what this means is that I am taking my own advice. I got a brand new factory air filter. Gosh, what a nice unit here. So this beauty here is going to be in the bike for probably a while. I did get another one for a backup, so we'll have one on hand if we ever need to replace this again. But this air filter, the factory air filter, is simply going to be, once again, the best fitment and the best filtration you can get for this bike. So I'm not going to bore you guys too much with the details of this. Get rid of this stick-on foam thickener here that I put on for the K&N air filter. And then I'm going to go ahead and install this in the bike. Before we do that, I'm going to show you guys how I knew the K&N air filter was leaking without even looking in the air box. So you guys may be wondering how I knew that there was dirt in the bottom end of this air box. So when I modified the air box, we moved the crankcase breather tube, and we also put a clear crankcase breather tube on here. So that way we could see if we were getting moisture and or dirt into the engine. The way I could tell that I had a leaking air filter or dirty air getting into the clean section of the air box is that there's actually dirt particles on the inside of this clear tube going right into the crankcase of the engine. So I'm going to actually show you guys what this looks like later on in the video. So another question I know I'm going to get, especially if you guys watch the other air filter options video, and that's will the Briggs & Stratton air filter work? Will it seal up? And I think that is answered pretty well in the airbox test video. You guys could see with the added foam lip seal there, the added thickness of the stick-on foam with the Briggs & Stratton paper filter, I think you're going to be just fine. The K&N air filter, however, is just simply never going to seal properly. So guys, I've gone ahead and cleaned up the airbox. Keep this image in mind here. Airbox is squeaky clean. So we're going to install this filter, run it for a while, and I'll be showing you guys the inside of the airbox again at some point down the road in another video. But I wanted to talk about this clear crankcase breather tube here again. Put you guys on the tripod. So this tube, like I said, the reason I could tell the K&N air filter was leaking is because, of course, this is a clear tube and I could see dirt. So I'm gonna wipe the outside of this tube off here and show you guys right here at the bottom where this tube goes into the crankcase. You could see all this dirt that was getting right into the crankcase. And again, you guys can see that is on the inside of the tube. So again, definitely kind of frustrating to see all this dirt going right into my crankcase and right into the top end that I just rebuilt because that K&N air filter. All right, so I'm gonna clean this tube out. We'll put it back on the bike and go from there. All right, guys, so this is what the clean crankcase breather tube looks like. Now we can go ahead and put this back on the bike. We'll go ahead and install the air filter. All right, nice tight fit. That air filter is not going anywhere, clamped in there firmly. We're not gonna have any leaks. I'm very confident in this factory air filter. Like I said, on down the road, we'll have a little bit of an update video. So now we'll install the cover. Only thing left to do here is to change the oil. So I'm gonna take this thing on a short ride, come back and change the oil. So I'm back from riding the bike. Now we're gonna change the oil. A little bit of a side note here. So obviously you guys already know if you have a leaking air filter, you're getting dirt and dust going right through the intake and into the top side of the engine, dusting your rings. So, you know, that's not the only thing that happens when you have a leaking air filter. You also have to remember you have the crankcase breather tube. So anytime dirt gets into the top end, it's also going straight into the bottom end. And you may as well be pouring dirt right into the bottom end of your engine. So this is one of the main reasons why you need to have a completely sealed airbox and air filter to avoid getting that dirt in the bottom end. And also, it's another reason why we're changing the oil on the bike. It's because you guys could see in the clear tube, there was a lot of dirt, and all that dirt goes where? Into the bottom end, right into the oil. And another real quick side note here, a lot of people did not believe that you could have so much dirt in the engine or in the oil sample when we took the oil sample test because of a leaking air filter. And I'm here to tell you guys, that's exactly how the dirt gets in. It's through a leaking air filter. So it not only gets in the top end and intake, it also goes right in the bottom end of the engine and right into the oil. And like I said before, if you have a leaking air filter, you may as well be pouring dirt right down into the crankcase of your engine. I know you guys can't see very well, but there are some very fine metal shavings in this oil. Like I said, some of it is from break-in, some of it no doubt is from the K&N air filter letting dirt into the engine. So we'll clean the plug up, reinstall the drain plug, and fill it with oil. So after we changed the oil and installed the stock air filter, I've ridden the bike for several hundred more miles. So here are the miles now and the hours. Unfortunately, the bike is now burning oil, and that's where this part of the video kind of picks up. Like I said, we'll do a few tests and kind of show you guys my conclusion and my thoughts on how the rings got toasted and what happened to the rings. So first, how many miles did we run the stock air filter for? So now we're gonna do a few very basic, very observational tests to see if we can figure out what went wrong. So you guys could see earlier in the video, we did change the oil again when I went back to the factory air filter. So we have genuine Honda oil in here with a couple hundred more miles. So the first thing here is, you know, check the oil. I'm holding the bike level and you guys can see we're well within spec. Also, guys can see we have more than enough oil in there. If I smell it, it doesn't smell like gas or anything. So, you know, we don't have any gasoline contaminants in the bottom end. Now we're gonna go ahead and check the spark plug. Take a look at the spark plug here, and I'm gonna put a picture of the spark plug chart up here. And hopefully you guys can tell the color on this, but It looks just about perfect. It's a little tidbit orange. It's not really black or sooty, which would mean it's running very rich, and it's not like extremely white or anything. No burnt electrode. So we can tell we're running pretty much the perfect mixture in this engine. So we cannot blame carburation on this issue. Again, we're not running rich, we're not running lean, we're running just about right. So here's that spark plug chart. If you guys want to pause the video, take a look at it and compare it to the color we have in this spark plug. So another thing to check real quick here, as you guys know, I had been running the factory air filter for a little while now, at least a couple 100 miles. So one of the things was to check this clear tube. This is how I figured out the K&N air filter was leaking. I'm gonna wipe this off with a rag and we'll be able to tell real quickly if the stock filter is leaking, which I can already tell it's not, but I'm gonna clean this up a little bit more on the outside of the tube for you guys so you can clearly see. So as you guys can see, we have a very clear tube here. No real big dirt particles or anything like that, as you could see earlier in the video with the K&N air filter. Obviously the K&N air filter was leaking. The stock air filter, again, is not leaking. So from this simple observation, we know that the stock air filter and airbox could not have caused the rings to go bad. That's another thing I wanted to talk about here. So the K&N air filter, while I had it in the bike for a couple 100 miles, it did allow dust to go in the engine and it did dust the rings. Obviously, that was part of the issue, but when I changed the K&N air filter out for the stock air filter, the bike was not burning oil at that point. In conclusion, we can't fully blame the K&N air filter. Now, yes, over time, if we ran the K&N air filter long enough, it would have burnt the rings completely out because of all that dirt going into the engine. But again, when I removed that K&N air filter, the bike was not burning oil at all. So I installed the stock air filter, which was not allowing dust or anything into the engine, and I ran the bike for a couple 100 more miles, and now we're burning oil. So again, we didn't have an air filter leak, the rings did not get dusted, we didn't have an issue with the oil, and we didn't have an air or fuel mixture problem. So again, more than likely, the issue with the top end on this thing, we can attribute to probably more than likely the Chinese top end. Now, there's one other possibility, and that's that the O-ring could be leaking, but that's a very low possibility, very unlikely, considering the fact that I put a brand new O-ring and brand new head gasket on this thing when I did the top end. Overall, I would say the lesson here is, and the conclusion is, that more than likely we just had a materials failure. I would say that the eBay top end kit is not worth your time or money. Like I was preaching before in the top end rebuild video, don't buy your parts on eBay. There's a good reason why you don't want to buy parts on eBay. I've seen it time and time again with carburetors and top ends and anything to do with the engine or anything around the engine. So again, without super solid hard evidence, without taking the bike apart, we don't know for sure that the eBay top end kit is the problem, but more than likely, I'm going to say it probably is. I'm going to say we had a materials failure on the rings, or something happened in the top end there that just was material failure. It's pretty much as simple as that. The only other possibility is the leaking O-ring. So to you guys, I would recommend don't run the eBay top end, don't buy it. And then also I would say do not run the K&N air filter, because these things are just going to cause you issues. So now the question becomes what to do with the bike, and of course it's burning oil, so it needs another top end job, which I don't really want to do right away because I just got done putting the top end on this thing. It's not a big deal, but at the same time, it's just kind of an annoyance. So I think what we're going to do is just run the bike the way it is. I am going to run it burning oil, which is not going to hurt the bike, as I mentioned in the top end rebuild video. And then when I get time, we'll go ahead and put some new rings in the top end. So that's one thing I wanted to call on you guys for. If you guys know where you can get just the rings alone for the top end, I'm interested in buying just the rings. So if you guys know where to get just the rings for the top end, link them in the comment section below. I'd appreciate it very much. Well, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out that description box below. There'll be other Hawk 250 videos linked down there. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace. Woo!
It's all about humanity.